We're obsessed with tracking everything, right? Steps, calories, even our sleep cycles. But what if we're missing something huge, something invisible that's all around us, shaping our health every single moment? That's what we're digging into today. This really wild idea that the most important health data isn't locked away in your DNA. Nope. It's in the air on your street. It's the noise outside your window.
I mean, seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. What if your doctor knew the exact air you breathe? I'm not talking about some vague citywide average. I mean the actual air quality on your block, at your front door, on your way to work. How would that change the conversation? How could that totally transform healthcare as we know it?
All right, so let's get into it, because here's the thing. Even the smartest, most powerful AIs in healthcare right now, they have this huge blind spot. I mean, a massive one. They know a ton about you, but they know next to nothing about your actual world. So take an AI like the one Amazon's building. It can pull up your entire medical history in a heartbeat. Every lab result, every prescription you've ever filled. It probably even knows you buy a ton of allergy meds from Amazon.com, right? But what it doesn't know, what it's totally blind to, is what's causing those allergies. It has no clue about the pollen count on your street or the dust from that construction site down the road. It's completely missing the real-world context.
So that begs the question, right? How in the world do you solve a problem you literally can't see? Well, it turns out there's this company, originally from Switzerland, that's come up with a genius way to give our tech a whole new set of senses, like eyes and ears for the environment. And that company is called Sparrow Analytics. Their mission? It sounds simple, but it's absolutely revolutionary. They want to stop guessing what our environment is like and start actually measuring it. They're providing that missing puzzle piece, that real-world intelligence that healthcare has been desperately needing. So how do they do it? How do they see the invisible? Well, the idea is actually kind of brilliant in its simplicity. They take these small mobile sensors and just attach them to vehicles that are already out there, driving around our cities all day long. We're talking delivery vans, city buses, you name it. And as these vehicles just go about their normal routes, the sensors are constantly sniffing the air, listening, and collecting data. They're building this incredibly detailed, block-by-block, real-time map of what's really going on out there. And we're not just talking about one or two things here. No way. They're building this super rich, multi-layered picture of our world. They're measuring all the big air pollutants like PM 2.5. Those are the nasty little particles that can get deep into your lungs. But they're also measuring noise levels, average noise, nighttime noise, even sudden loud noises. On top of that, things like temperature, humidity, and get this, even road quality. It's like a complete environmental physical. Okay, so here's where it gets really cool. What happens when you take this powerful new sense, all this amazing data, and you plug it directly into the brain of a health AI? Well, the result is immediate. It's like giving the AI a superpower. Suddenly, healthcare gets a whole lot smarter and way more personal. And the way it works is just seamless. Sparrow's data becomes this new sub-agent, like a trusted advisor for the AI. So imagine this. You ask your health app for advice. Instead of just looking at your old medical records, the AI can now, in real time, check the environmental data for your specific address. It could say something like, hey, just a heads up, the ozone levels on your street are spiking right now. Given your asthma, it's probably a good idea to keep the windows closed this afternoon. How incredible is that? But look, just having tons of raw data isn't enough, right? It can be overwhelming. To make it truly useful for you and me, it has to mean something. It needs to be translated into something simple, personal, and something we can act on. And that is exactly where this thing called the Health Risk Index comes into play. The easiest way to think about the Health Risk Index, or HRI for short, is like a credit score, but for your environment's impact on your health. It's brilliant. It takes all that super complex data, all those pollutants and noise levels, and boils it all down to one simple number, from 0 to 100. It's basically your personal environmental report card, tailored just for you. So, for instance, you might see this pop up for your address, a respiratory risk score of 78 out of 100. Bam! It's super clear, totally direct. You immediately know, okay, this is something I need to pay attention to. And that number isn't just pulled out of thin air. A high score like that is directly tied to the actual measured levels of things like PM 2.5 and ozone right there on your street. The very same pollutants that scientists know can trigger asthma attacks or make conditions like COPD a whole lot worse. Okay, or check this one out. A sleep disorder risk of 85. Now, this is where it gets super interesting because it starts connecting the dots between your health and things you would never ever think are related to the environment. Because a score like this, it's not just about the air you breathe during the day. It's driven by factors like how loud it is at night. Is there constant traffic noise? Is there a construction crew starting up at 5 a.m.? It even includes those tiny airborne particles that can mess with your breathing while you sleep. Suddenly, the AI can spot a potential root cause for your bad sleep that your doctor would have no way of knowing about. So, when you put all of this together inside a whole ecosystem like Amazon's, you create this amazing self-reinforcing cycle, what they call a flywheel. It starts with the risk score, which flags a potential threat. Then, the health AI jumps in with personalized advice. Maybe it suggests a quick video call with a One Medical doctor. Then it can connect you straight to Amazon to order a specific air purifier or get a prescription from Amazon Pharmacy. And the best part? It then tracks how you're doing to make its advice even better next time. I mean, this is the definition of proactive, preventative healthcare. But this whole idea is about so much more than just making the AI smarter. This is where we get to the really big picture. For a company like Amazon, this represents an absolutely game-changing strategic advantage. Let's talk about the ultimate play here. Yeah, this quote really nails it. From data consumer to data owner. See, right now, most companies, even huge ones, are just consumers of data. They get it from other places. The vision here is for Amazon to put these Sparrow sensors on its own massive fleet of delivery trucks. By doing that, they would instantly transform from just another data consumer into the single largest owner of this kind of detailed, proprietary environmental data on the entire planet. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, think about it. Right now, we rely on a handful of official government monitoring stations. They're great, but they're incredibly spread out. It's like trying to understand a whole city by looking through a few tiny keyholes. Now, picture the entire Amazon delivery fleet. Thousands and thousands of vehicles crisscrossing every neighborhood every single day. That wouldn't just be more data, it would be a completely different kind of data network, one so dense it could map the environmental truth of every single street. And this is so much bigger than just a business advantage. This unique dataset could become one of the most powerful tools we've ever had for health equity. Why? Because for the very first time, we could see with pinpoint accuracy where pollution hotspots are. And so often, those hotspots are in lower-income, underserved neighborhoods. Having this data means you can create targeted health programs, and you can start to bake environmental justice right into the healthcare system itself. So, it really leaves you with this one big lingering question. For decades, we've been searching for the future of medicine in our genes, in high-tech labs, in fancy wearable devices. But what if the next giant leap forward wasn't in any of those places? What if it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time? In the air we breathe, on the streets we walk, and right outside our own front doors.